wives did Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam have? 2, right? Khadija radiallahu anha passed away, and Sauda radiallahu anha, and Aisha radiallahu anha. Okay, all right. Then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, one of the major things that happened is the constitution of Medina. Remember, Islamic State is forming. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is now the leader of Medina. Okay, the name changed from Yathrib to Medina. Why Medina? Medina just means city. Its actual full name is Madinatul Munawwara, right? The enlightened city. The enlightened city. They loved the Rasulullah so much they changed the name of their city from Yathrib to Madinatul Munawwara. Some scholars actually discourage from using the term Yathrib when speaking about Medina. The only time they use the term Yathrib is when historically you're kind of talking about what it used to be called, but then when you talk about Medina, you say Madinatul Munawwara. Okay, all right. Anyway, moving on. So Rasulullah established a constitution of Medina because Rasulullah is being extremely strategic now. There's a huge population now that he's responsible for, that he needs to protect. Right? He has a treaty with the people of the Ansar. He has a treaty with the people of Medina. What was the treaty? That him, right? And he is going to protect them. There's a treaty. Islam is all about contracts. Our aqidah is a contract. Okay, I'm going to put it in terms that you guys have never heard before. Our aqidah is a contract. The belief tawheed is a contract. Marriage is a contract. Contracts are big. You can't break contracts. Then you become a traitor. Extremely important concept of contracts. Okay, so there's the contract here. Okay, so Rasulullah makes a constitution and the contract. He wants the Jews, because he knows kind of what's going on, right? The munafiqun, and he has a sense. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hasn't specifically told him, but he's warning, right? Quran is being revealed about munafiqun and all that stuff. Jews, I don't know if that happened before or after the constitution, wallahu alam. I don't know if anybody can say that for certain, but he wants to make sure that the tribes are also going to ensure protection of Medina. The Jewish tribes, the outside. They're not going to conspire. So Rasulullah writes a constitution and makes a treaty with the Jews. That is going to be responsible for the Muslims. Jews will be responsible for the Jews. If a dispute occurs between the Muslims, Muslims are supposed to take care of it. Rasulullah will take care of it. If a dispute happens between the Jewish people within themselves, they're supposed to protect. They're supposed to take care of it without having to involve the Muslims. But intra-Muslim Jew things take happen. There's a whole treaty of Constitution of Medina. Then Rasulullah gets to be the judge, right? It needs to be worked out. Anyway, and if an attack comes to Medina, everyone is going to protect Medina. Everyone. Protect. They're not asked to fight, but protect. They're not going to conspire to. Okay. All right. Everybody agrees, everybody signs. By the way, advanced tidbit. Take it or leave it. What are the main tribes in the Sirah of the Jews? We have the Banu Qaynuqa, Banu Nadir, Banu Qurayzah. None of them can be found in the Constitution of Medina text that we have available. That you can read the Arabic. There's tons of Jewish tribes described in there. None of them had those names in it. Interesting research topic. Okay, all right. All right. Change of Qiblah happens. Okay, so we just did Ashura, right? The 10th of Muharram. Why do we do Ashura? Just a side topic, but it's important. I want to tell you the significance of this. Not because of Shias and Muharram and Hussein, not because of that at all. The Jews believed that Ashura was the day that the Musa alayhi salam saved the children of Israel and had them cross the river Nile over to the other side. That was the day the children of Israel was saved. So they celebrate that day. That is Ashura. Okay? Rasulullah in the beginning had tremendous respect, and he still did. It's not that he stopped respecting. He had tremendous respect for earlier scripture. It was also from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Torah, the Jewish civilization, the Jewish culture. He adopted. He's like, yes, he said, we have more right to fast on Ashura than the Jews, meaning we're the actual Muslims, not these Jews. They say they're Muslim, but they're not Muslim, you know what I mean. They're believers, but they're not real believers. We're the true believers in the Prophet, so we have more of a right. So that's why he started to fast Ashura, because the Jewish people used to fast Ashura. Anyways, later on when they started to do bad things, then Rasulullah did things that opposed, didn't dress the way they dressed, didn't comb the hair, part their hair the way they part their hair. If Jews prayed with their slippers off, shoes on, off, Rasulullah prayed with the shoes on to oppose them. Okay, Rasulullah, I don't know if people know that. Okay, all right. One other thing. I don't know where I was going with that. Okay. Too much going on in my head right now. Oh, yes. All right. Now, a very gray, questionable area. Again, the Muhajirun, they didn't have anything. The Rihlat al-Shita was still is happening. Okay. Medina is on the way. Where's Medina at? It's almost directly north of Mecca. It's almost directly north of Mecca. Okay? Let's talk about that really quickly. That happened before Badr. Where's Philistine? Where's Quds? It's also north of Medina. Okay, in Philistine, right here. This is where Quds is. Muslims, with the way they build the Masjid al-Nabawi, they're praying in this direction because they were facing the Qiblah, which is north, right? Because of Jews starting to disrespect some faults started to happen, to harass. And also to teach, also more importantly. So one way of da'wah to the Jews was, one way of da'wah to encourage, to help them realize that this is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You're expecting a prophet. There's a lot can be said there. Just too much. I'm trying to see how I can highlight the main points that actually make sense to you. One da'wah is, here's Rasulullah, he believes in what you believes, and he's come to confirm the message. Okay, Quran talks about Rasulullah has come to confirm the message. So believe in him but Jews were waiting for a Messiah, and the Jews thought that they were going to come from Jews, okay? But they didn't. By the way, what kind of Jews were they? Jews had a lot of different factions. How did they end up in Medina to begin with? Lots of speculations, but they were there.
That's there in scriptures, the description of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and where he's going to come, and it says he's going to come in a fertile land between two deserts. So in the whole peninsula, there is two places, which is Al-Madinah, Yathrib, A fruitful
Yeah,
land.
a green land.
And the other one is Khaybar.
I want to move
And that's
quickly.
why
I want to
they're
move
trying
quickly.
to
Yes. I want to move quickly. Yes. But I'm just giving you key points. So he's come to confirm the message. But they didn't accept him because he was not Jew.
Exactly.
Okay, he didn't accept. They knew. They didn't accept him because he wasn't Jewish. It was for tribal reasons.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, what did it says about the Jews at the time of Musa alayhi salam? You are the most preferred nation, right? You are the most preferred nation.
At their time.
At their time, right? No, not just that time. Until then. Until then. Who had the deen? Who had the deen? The Jews. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, just to show and test who is the real believer, who is there's hypocrisy happening in Mecca right now, right? So now here's the new Muslims over there in Medina. It's like Qiblah, we're going to pray toward Quds, right? Toward Masjid al-Aqsa. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reveals, now face your face toward Kaaba. Lots of different reasons why that happened. One, to test the hypocrites. Who are they following Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam or not? Are they going to turn back on their heels? That just because the Qibla is changing, it's a test on them. It's also my opinion. Take it or leave it, throw it in the garbage, whatever you want. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at this time is demoting the Jews from a place of preference and now upgrading Muslims in a place of preference. Now the Qibla is changing. Wow. Think about that. It's now you're demoted, you're promoted. Now you're the best of nations. كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس. No, I'm sorry. The middle ayah of Baqarah. أمة وسط. Okay, أمة وسط. Did this happen? Incidence is in the right, but the change of Qibla is happening. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I'll change my deen whenever I want. Okay? Whenever I want. This is before the change of the Qibla. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about how He does naskh, abrogation of His law. He changes it as He wills. So that's one reason. So promotion of Muslims, demotion of Jews, one reason. Second reason, to test the iman of the people in Medina. Third reason, most important reason, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is subliminally educating the Muslims. Your next mission is what? Mecca. That's yours. The Kaaba is yours. Yeah? Not your focus shouldn't be your next mission is Kaaba. Okay. Anyways,
when you were saying when they prayed in front of the Kaaba,
Mhm.
with the surah when they did the sajda. So
excellent question.
There was
It's all together like in a line, right? So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam loved the Kaaba, and it was venerated by obviously the Meccans, right, and everybody in Arabia. So it was a holy element, absolutely. But when they were praying, they were actually facing Aqsa, but in the middle they kept Kaaba. So they were facing Aqsa, but in the middle it was Kaaba. Okay, excellent question. Thank you for asking that question.
Although he have a special a place in his heart, special for.
Oh yes, Quran talks about that. Anyway, no detail. No time for detail.
Oh,
We're gonna finish.
This is the point.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I said he loved the Kaaba. Rasulullah loved the Kaaba. When he was facing the Jerusalem, he loved the Kaaba. Right? And this is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one of the reasons why the Qibla was changed, also because of preference of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Excellent point. Okay, now, Rihla Shita'i wa Sayf is happening. Here's Muslims, Muhajiruns, all poor, had nothing, living on what the Ansar are giving them, half of their wealth or, in their homes. They had nothing. They were out looking for food and supplies. Guess what? Caravans of the Arabs of Mecca the rich caravans coming back from Syria with loads and loads of goodies, right? Okay? Were they raiding the caravans? Kind of, okay? Because things have been taken away from them. What else? So this famous thing started to happen. Abu Sufyan from Syria is coming down with huge supplies. Muslims wanted it because they're fighting now. One thing I forgot to tell you, in Meccan period, Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling them, instructing Muslims to be patient, no fighting. And then fighting is lifted. So if you want to read about about the Badr incidents in detail, there's two surahs you want to read. Before Badr, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks in Surah Al-Baqarah, after the change of the Qiblah, He talks about toward the end of Surah Al-Baqarah, He talks about the David and Goliath story. David and Goliath story. That's actually to boost the Muslims that even though you're small, you can fight a big army. Okay? You see how I helped. وَقَتَلَ دَاوُودُ جَالُوتَ, or something like, forget the Fatha Dhamma. Yeah? And David killed Goliath. It's a Quranic ayah. Okay? So that. But the actual incident of Badr, it's in Surah Al-Anfal, right before Surah Tawbah, Surah number 8, right? And Surah Tawbah is Surah 9. So this Surah Al-Anfal is the story of is about the Badr there and the emotional aspects and everything like that. Anyway, so Muslims wanted to, so Abu Sufyan changed his direction. Meccans got prepared. Now they're going to attack Abu Sufyan. We want to protect our supplies. They sent an army of 1,000 people or so, right? That we're not going to let Muslims out. We're going to squash them. They're puny, tiny. They have nothing. Muslims weren't really prepared for a big war. They had like nothing, hardly anything on them. They weren't like coming for a war. They were just, they had, right? So that, now, there at the Badr is an area outside of Medina. It's wells, anyways, and they won over with the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent those angels down, and they won. Boom. Can you imagine a huge blow to Quraysh? First of all, Quraysh, the in the Arabian Peninsula, known as the protectors of the Kaaba, right? The caretakers of the Kaaba, and for the Hajj pilgrims. And they already had one stain on them that Qurayshis actually left the Quraysh, the Muhajirun who left Quraysh. That's actually a stain on their reputation, that they don't even take care of their own people. Their own tribe has exited. That was bad, right? And killed the main leaders of the Quraysh. Abu Lahab dies, right? Abu Jahl dies. So many other top leaders are Umayyah dies, right? There was about 315 Muslims and almost 1,000 Quraysh. This is only between Quraysh and Quraysh, okay? The Muslim Quraysh and the non-Muslim Quraysh, okay? It's not a global phenomenon yet. Okay, so 312 Muslims and 1,000 Quraysh. How many Muhajirun? Okay, one more thing. It's slight detail, but important detail. It's a small detail for most people, but very important detail. The pledge of Aqaba, again, contract. Okay, I'm saying that again. What was the contract? The contract never said that the Ansar are going to fight along with the Muslims. They're going to do offensive jihad. That wasn't the contract. In the beginning, how many Muhajirun are there? 82, 85 out of the 315, right? And how many Ansar are there? 231. These aren't contractually, they're not supposed to be risking their lives. They're not. Rasulullah right before Badr asks them nicely, would you be willing to fight with us? It's not part of your contract. Would you be willing to fight with us? And it was the famous Mu'adh ibn Jabal. The Sa'd who died in after Khandaq. The whole Hadith said the whole Arsh of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shook when Sa'd ibn Waqas died. That Sa'd, he was an Ansari. He said, yes, we are all with you. And that's how they became 315. They weren't 315. They weren't 312 or whatever the number is. It's not important. So that's an important element. Now, the Ansar won't only just defend you, we will also have offensive fighting. Jews didn't do that. Obviously, that's not part of the thing. Okay, get out of Badr. The other Ansar, the Munafiqun, the hypocrites, they're like, no, that wasn't part of the deal. In this, thank you very much. We're going home. Okay? They didn't participate. The hypocrites didn't participate. Obviously, did the other Sahaba knew they were hypocrites? No, they didn't. They were considering them regular Muslims, right? They're not. Okay, anyways. So this is Abdullah bin Ubayd. They're taking a whole bunch of people away with him. All right. Then, Uthman, important element, even though it might be a tiny element, it's an important element. Uthman radiallahu anh didn't participate in Badr. Why? He, by that time, was married to Ruqayya, who was extremely sick. And Rasulullah ordered him, you go take care of my daughter, okay, your wife. You go take care of her while we're doing this. So he was ordered by Rasulullah to, and he's like, you will get the reward of the Badr. And
he's really considered one of the
he's considered a Badri. He's considered a Badri.
Exactly.
Okay, Rasulullah said, you'll be considered a Badri, but you're not participating, so you take care. But she passed away. Radiyallahu anha. Okay? All right. Abdullah ibn Salul is now what is going on now? This is unimaginable that 300 or so, an army of 300 can defeat 1,000. So he's like, oh gosh, I'm in trouble. I think this is not going to work out. I'm not going to become a governor, eventual mayor, or whatever he thought himself to be. Now, what relationships with the great alliances with the Jewish tribes. Abdullah ibn Salul, okay? Great alliances with the Jews. And a tiff happened between basically one of the Jewish tribes sexually harassed a Muslimah, okay? And they broke the treaty. That tribe was Banu Qaynuqa, okay? Banu Qaynuqa, one of the couple of Jewish people, they sexually harassed a Muslimah, okay? And Rasulullah was, you broke the treaty. You broke the contract. So, long story short, there was a siege. Abdullah ibn Salul like, no, you can't do that. They're my friends. I have to protect them. No, but Rasulullah actually had them leave Medina because they broke the treaty. They're traitors. They're no longer eligible to live in Medina. They're outside of the contract. So they exited. They went to Khaybar. Khaybar, remember, miles north? Okay. Banu Qaynuqa. Very little, maybe a hint of an ayah is in the Quran about Qaynuqa. Just maybe hint of an ayah. Okay. Ali radiallahu anhu marries Zainab. I'm sorry, Fatima. Astaghfirullah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam marries Zainab bint Khuzaymah, different Zainab. Okay. Then the Battle of Uhud. This is 1 year. So the Quraysh are burning in fury, right? They're burning in fury. How did our top leaders die? These little puny people, just 300 or so, right? They planned and plotted. They came back with a much stronger army, right? And they wanted to attack. Guess where they attacked Medina from? They can't come from here. Can't come from here. Can't come from here. That was their plan. What is out here? It was the Mount Uhud. Okay? So, you remember there's a small mount over here. What is it called? I forget the name. Astaghfirullah. Where the archers, Rasulullah asked the 50 archers to stand on that mount to protect. There's that little mountain over here. If you Google, you'll be able to see all of this stuff drawn much better. I'm just going to give you an idea. So anyway, Rasulullah initially was hesitant to war outside of Medina because he was afraid of the massive injuries that might ensue. But he did the shura, and everybody, all of those others said, no, we should meet them at Uhud. And they met it. Uhud was a dangerous territory. Long story short, Rasulullah told the archers to don't place until I tell you. But they were like, oh, we went down the mountain. Rasulullah did not want to come down the mountain. They wanted to chase the war booty, and as a result, he came and did a roundabout attack behind this mountain because they were gone. So there was a point of weakness, and Muslims suffered massive injuries as a result of it. 70 plus Sahaba got martyred. Hamza radiallahu anh martyred.
Good point to point out. Abdullah bin Salul.
Yeah, he didn't participate.
He pulled third of the arms. Just like he did in Uhud.
Yeah. 1,000 Quraysh, right? So 300 of them. So Abdullah bin Salul, like, I'm not going. I don't want this. So he left. So there was only 700 Muslims remaining. So he's taking his hypocrites with him. So that's making sense? You see how it's a lot of politics in Medina, okay? Lots. So there's a lot going on here. I'm just giving you hints. So Rasulullah married Hafsa, now the daughter of Umar, radiallahu anhu. Okay? Hassan is born. Okay. A lot of Muslims die in Bi'r Ma'una. So there was a tribe somewhere outside of Medina of disbelievers. I think there was some conspiracy that happened. I don't remember the details between the Jewish tribes or the Abdullah bin Salul or something like that. One of the external tribes of Medina, they invited Rasulullah saying, come and teach us Islam. We want to convert. So Rasulullah, out of the goodness of his heart, sent 70 of the top people to that tribe because it was a huge tribe. It was a trap. They killed 70 people. Top Sahaba. Top. Rasulullah was so sad and upset. You know how we read Qunut in the Witr? Okay? That's when it started. The Qunut in the Witr Salah or in the Fajr Salah according to the Shafi'i fiqh. Rasulullah, we learned from the Hadith, he did Qunut for 1 month praying for the attack. Like he was so, usually he would never curse people or curse tribes or make bad dua for anyone. He made bad dua against the what was it? Banu, I forget the name. Banu Amir. Banu Amir was the tribe. Okay, they're the ones who stabbed them in the back. So he did qunut for 1 month. By the way, side benefit. Is qunut supposed to be recited all the time, every night? Or you should only do it in the time of distress? Type. Okay? Difference in opinion. Okay. All right. Is witr valid without qunut? Yes. Okay? And so I'm telling you, this is when it started. Okay? To do a very, very similar treachery was Banu Nadir. Okay, the whole Surat Hashr is around Banu Nadir. So if you read Surah Al-Hashr in the 28th juz, 28th juz, it's all about Banu Nadir. Okay, and what they did, and at the treachery, there's something happened. I forget exactly what happened. Very similar. Abdullah ibn Salul is like, oh yes, Rasulullah went with Abu Bakr. I don't know if it was Uthman or Ali. He went to Banu Nadir for something. I don't remember what right now at the top of my head. They tried to kill Rasulullah. They wanted to throw a stone over the wall of the. They're in fortresses, right? They wanted to throw a stone and kill Rasulullah. And Jibril came and told Rasul. So Rasulullah just immediately got up and left because Jibril came and told him. Anyway, that happened, and then he came and not attacked, but put a siege on Banu Nadir. Now, Banu Nadir then eventually they were then asked to. They were banished from Medina as well. Okay? All right. Getting it? Okay. Now. Huh?
Where did they went?
Khaybar. Remember the Jewish town way north of Medina. Okay. Little pockets. Okay. Married Salama, Hind bint Abu Umayyah. Okay? So this is one of the Banu Umayyah. Abu Sufyan is Banu Umayyah. Okay? This is the daughter of Abu Sufyan. Rasulullah married. Abu Sufyan, staunch enemy. So Abu Lahab's dead, right? Guess who's the chieftain of Mecca? Abu Sufyan. Abu Sufyan. Rasulullah married the daughter of Abu Sufyan. Hind. Also, her commonly known as Salama. Okay? Okay. All right. Treachery is happening abound, okay, in Medina. That's why this is going to go quickly. Now, tribe of Ghatafan, it's in the Arabian Ghatafan area is like here. Anyway, there was a surprise attack, Banu Mustaliq, that to one of the tribes that happened. Rasulullah preempted it, that the whole tribe converted to Islam just surprisingly. The whole tribe converted, and Rasulullah then married Juwayriyah bint Haritha, a very fascinating story. Look into detail in the Sirah books, fascinating story, and how the strategic marriage with Juwayriyah resulted in the conversion of the whole tribe to Islam. So more strength to Muslims. Slander of Aisha happened right after the Banu Mustaliq. What is the slander of Aisha? She was accused of indecency because with another person. Anyways, Surat An-Nur. Surat An-Nur, first 2 pages of Surat An-Nur talks about all of that right now. So the slander of Aisha happens, not necessarily that important right now. Now what's going on is victory after victory after victory of Muslims gaining strength. Jews are getting exited. The Quraysh, Ghatafan, the other tribes, they're like sucking up everybody into Islam. Now the Confederates are forming, not just the Quraysh. All the tribes of Arabia are now anti-Muslims. They all with the Jews. along with the Jews, long complicated stories, okay? Along with the Jews, and they come with the Confederates. What are the Confederates called in Arabic? Ahzab. 10,000 strong. Comes to attack Medina. Again, where does it attack Medina? Where does it want to? This opening right here. So it was the brilliant idea, strategies of one of the Sahaba to build. This is Salman al-Farsi, who came up with the idea of the trench, that we should dig up a trench so that when they come over, they have to kind of step down and then step back up again. So they to be able to protect them against the Confederates of 10,000 army, because when you someone, right? So that's where the trench became. So they actually spent long. There are lots of miracle stories and all. I'm just kind of giving you an idea. Jews were involved in this treachery. Okay, 10,000 attacking Medina. And just this is where the Quran says, and this is in Surah, the end of Surah Al Imran. The end of Surah Al Imran. You read it. That is really, really powerful. About, it says end of Al Imran. La, Ahzab? Is it the whole of Ahzab or?
لا مش الأحزاب no.
No.
الشورى.
I don't remember. It's the end of Surah Al Imran.
Al Imran, it was about Uhud.
End of Al Imran is about Uhud, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaking scolding those people, the archers who didn't listen to Rasulullah, right? And there's Ahzab as well. I can find really quickly, not important right now. You can look it up. Anyways, so they dug up the trenches, and the Quran talks about how Muslims were so scared because they were trapped. They're like, if they come through, we're done. We're toast, right? We're done. There's no way to save the army, 10,000 strong. Not even the population of the city, right? And the Quran talks about how scared they were. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, your hearts came in your throats. Hanajir, that ayah. I don't remember the ayah. Yes, your hearts came in your throats. Yeah, that's how scared they were. People wanted to, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says you started to think thoughts in your heart that you wouldn't normally think, meaning they wanted to leave Islam, right? They wanted to join.
I think it's Surah Al-Ashr.
No. No, that's Banu Nadir. Anyways, okay. What was I getting at? Yeah. Miraculously, an eastwardly wind came that blinded the 10,000 strong army. Like, wind just wouldn't stop. They're like, a huge sandstorm came, wouldn't stop. These guys, 10,000. Just 1,000 or so? 3,000 Muslims. They left. They ran. Victory. How many Muslims died? Martyred? Just 5. 5 or so. 1 maybe. 1 or 5. However, who was injured? Very important Sahabi. Ansari. Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas. Badly injured. He didn't die. He was martyred then. He was martyred later on. He eventually bled to death, essentially. Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas. You remember, this is the same Sa'd who said, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Badr, we're with you. The Ansari, that Sa'd. Okay? Allah. Okay. Now Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is like, it was but go against the hypocrites because they're Muslims, they pretend Muslims. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not want the hypocrites to be outed at that time, right? Rasulullah was not even told that this guy is a hypocrite, Abdullah ibn Salul. He's thinking of as a Muslim. So can Muslims attack Muslims? No. You can't. The traitor here, the Jewish people. It was people from Banu Qurayzah, another tribe, a huge tribe that had now, Rasulullah had banished the Banu Qaynuqa, Banu Qurayzah. But Banu Qurayzah did something so bad that they didn't just hurt one person, they conspired, right? The penalty for treachery in Jewish tradition is what? Rasulullah had all men, 700 of them, killed of Banu Qurayza. The Western people, the non-Muslims, they pick on this story a lot, like how can you massacre 700 people and all of that stuff, but there are a lot of political reasons. As time was 1400 years ago, okay? But this is why it happened. Because if they were successful, they would have killed everyone. Okay? So Rasulullah is removing threat from Medina. Okay? So men are killed. Okay? Then Rasulullah started to then send out letters for additional alliances. You must have heard, the letters being sent to different corners of the world by Rasulullah, king of Persia, king of this, king of that, king of Egypt. So one of the kings, he didn't want to believe in him, but he instead gifted Rasulullah a female slave, Maria Qibtiyya. Qibt means in Arabic, it's Arabic. You must have heard the word Coptic Christians. Have you ever heard Coptic Christians? No? Okay. Anyway, I thought it was more common. In Egypt, there's a lot of Copts. There's still 10+% of Egypt is still Coptic Christian, by the way. I don't know if you knew that. 10+% of Christians. Okay? Qibt is called. Qaf, Qibt.
What's the major belief?
Regular. I don't know. The creedal studies, Aqidah studies of Christians is like, it's too much there. Like, it's crazy. It's like spaghetti. I'm really into that, but I still haven't explained it to myself, let alone explain it to you. Okay? The differences in the different sects of in Christianity is super complex. Yeah.
The Torah was different, but when the Bible came, it was much more strict, or it was
relaxed.
Relaxed.
Yes. The Jewish scripture is script. There's a reason for that. That's a whole different discussion.
So now Quran came, Quran was more relaxed?
Quran, is it more relaxed? That's debatable, maybe. But Quran specifically says it is much more relaxed than the Torah. Okay. That was one of the pieces of the da'wah to the Jews. I've come to make it easy for you. Isa alayhi salam said the same thing. Okay, so I don't know comparing, because we don't have the original Bible. If we had the original Bible, the Injil, then we would be able to answer that question. I don't know if we can ever know that. Anyways, where was I? Okay, so Maria Qibtiyya. One concept you guys should be aware of. Assalamu alaikum. One concept you should be aware of. Have you heard, I'm going to use a term that you guys have never probably heard referenced in Sunday school level Islam. The term is milk yamin. Milk yamin. So let's pause. Okay. So when we say slavery in Islam, don't think of slavery as like modern day slavery or what happened here, that kind of slavery. Islam, so before Islam, obviously there were slaves, okay? But they were not the kind of slaves that, I'm not defending slavery, I'm just telling you how it is, okay? they had rights, and technically there were laws around what you could do, but Islam came and didn't abolish slavery. Okay, Islam didn't come to abolish slavery. Slavery had a purpose. That it was serving at least one purpose in Islam, which is when you go and you win a city, you win a tribe. Okay, you're victorious, right? One of the war booties is everyone who's captured as part of the war becomes the slave. And can you guess the benefit of that? What is the benefit of that?
Supporting.
They become part of the system of the Muslims, and they learn from the Muslims, they become Muslims, and then they're freed. And Islam encourages over and over and over, if you did this major sin, free a slave. If you did this major sin, free a slave. If you did this sin, free a slave. If you do that sin, free a slave. You didn't free slave, free slave, free slave, free. What? It's in strength comes, right? So it's like a feedback system. It's like a amazing concept. Okay, people don't get it, but it has some. Is that if you're a man, if you inherit one of the slaves because it's considered war booty, then you can have sexual relationships with, and that's called milk yamin. Okay, get it? Milk yamin means the one who is possessed by the right hand, meaning they're not wife level, but they're milk yamin. Okay, so Maria Qibtiyya is gifted to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam at this time by the Egyptian, and then she becomes one of those two, milk yamin to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. All right, I wanted you to understand. So what? Remember the whole tribe that converted? I told you, Banu Mustaliq. How did they convert? So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It was a preemptive attack, and all to Medina now. They all come. One of them being Juwayriyah radiyallahu anha, and she's now a slave. So given to someone else. Eventually, she ends up as Rasulullah. Rasulullah is really attracted to her. It's like she wanted to be free, so he's like, your freedom will be if you get married to me. You're free. So they got married. She got freed as a result. Now, can you enslave the daughter? Enslave all of them? No. So she was the daughter of the chieftain. She got married to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As a result, the whole tribe is free, and they all converted. Went back to Banu Mustaliq. So that's what happened. Anyway, I just wanted you to understand the concept of slavery. So, all right, let's keep going. I don't know if we're going to be done. But we're going to be done with the Sirah very quickly. Okay. All right. Treaty of Hudaybiyyah. Umrah, and some scholars say Hajj now becomes mandatory. Can Muslims go to Hajj or Umrah right now to Mecca? No, they'll be killed, right? But anyways, so Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and 1,400 people decided to take the sacrificial animals, because you're supposed to sacrifice after Umrah as well, to Mecca. On the way, they're stopped by the Quraysh. No, you can't come in. We won't let you do Umrah. Okay, Quraysh is in a weak spot right now, right? So they're not going to try to attack. It didn't work. What are we going to do? Okay, we're not going to let them do their rights. So we're going to, because Muslims are getting stronger and stronger. They didn't let them come in. They stopped them at Hudaybiyyah, hence the term Treaty of Hudaybiyyah. And Muslims are really, really strong right now. So they didn't let them come in, but they had the treaty. Long story short, the treaty this is the big one. Okay, big treaty, contract. Remember contract? It's all about contracts. We will have peace for 10 years. No fighting between Quraysh and Medina and Muslims. No fighting. 10 years. Treaty. But it was not all good for Muslims. Some treaty is if somebody defects from Medina and comes to Mecca to seek protection with the Quraysh, like somebody who doesn't want to be a Muslim anymore, Quraysh gets to keep them. But if one of the Qurayshis want to go to Medina to become Muslim, you have to send them back. Okay, part of the treaty and those kinds of things. But at the end of the day, and you can't because do Umrah now, but you can come back next year. Alaikum assalam. You can come back next year for Umrah. Okay, so that, a lot of Sahaba didn't like. Really happy with the treaty. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's going to be Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called it a fath. In Surah Al-Fath was revealed as a result of this, not because of the Fath Makkah, but because of Hudaybiyyah. Inna fatahna laka fathan mubina. That this is now a great, you know why it's great? Because now there is a treaty, there's peace for 10 years, right? Allows for the growth. Okay. This is and then, because this was such a big thing, bottom line, Bay'at Ridwan happened under the tree where all the 1,400 Muslims, they give the Bay'at to Rasulullah again as a fresh Bay'ah, as a fresh pledge that we're with you. Okay? This is called Bay'at Ridwan. Another big deal. Remember the levels of the Sahaba? Okay. Top level, Umar radiallahu anhu, wives of the Prophet. Second level, the early converts, right? And so on and so forth. Then Badriyuns, those who were the Badr. Then those who participated in Uhud and all of that. This is Bai'at Radwan is an also level. Those who were present in the Bai'ah of Radwan. Okay, those are okay, so Muslims are getting stronger. Then Rasulullah married Zainab bint Jahsh. She actually was the ex-wife of Zayd ibn Haritha. Remember the adopted son of Rasulullah? Okay. That's another detail that I'm just going to glance over, but very interesting and controversial at the same time. Zainab bint Jahsh. The Surah Ahzab that you read, not about the Battle of Ahzab, but it's got a little bit about the Battle of Ahzab, but it's all really about that incident. About the marriage to Zayd. You know how in the Quran, how many names of the Sahaba are there? How many names? One name. Abu Bakr is not mentioned, Umar is not mentioned, Uthman, Ali, none of that. No names of the Sahaba except one Sahabi. Who is that? Zayd. Okay? Surah Ahzab. Then Muslims are strong, time of peace with the Quraysh only, contract not with the Jews. Okay? Rasulullah is now forging forward to attack Khaybar. All of the Jews are there because the threat has not gone. The threat from the Jews is not gone. So he goes to Khaybar, he defeats Khaybar. Not a lot of casualties or anything like that, but he makes a deal with them. Phenomenal deal. Now is loads and loads of money is going to come. Now Muslims are not even just population-wise strong. Now they're wealthy, like super wealthy. Okay, because of all of the date palms that were around Khaybar. Tons of date palms. So since Muslims defeated the Khaybariyuns, basically not defeated, they didn't want to fight anymore. They were like in their fortresses. They didn't want to fight. So not a lot of bloodshed or anything like that. Rasulullah is poisoned by one of the women. They made a deal that 50% of, so you guys are the farmers. Rasulullah is telling the Jews, the treaty, there's a treaty now. there's this treaty. Okay, you got countries, we don't, but whatever you produce, 50% of that we're gonna get, and we're gonna leave you alone. For how many years? 10 years was it also? No. Anyway, there is something like that. You get it? Do you know how much money that is? It is millions of dollars are now coming. At the same time, you remember the people in Habasha that were still in Abyssinia? Now they come back to Medina because Islam is strong now. So now they come back to, instead of going to Mecca, they come to Medina. Okay, and Rasulullah marries one of the widows from over there, Habiba, Ramla. Oh no, this is bint Abu Sufyan. I was wrong. I said Hind was Abu Sufyan. I'm sorry. It was Ramla Abu Sufyan. But also Banu Umayyah. Okay, and this is where Abu Huraira comes and hears what's happening around Rasulullah and in Masjid al-Nabawi at that time. Remember I drew the 3D structure last time?
Yes.
At the back of the masjid, if the Qibla is here, right? The back of the masjid, there was an area called the Sufa, the area of the Sufa, Ashab al-Sufa. These were the people who were poor, who didn't have much. They didn't have a home, so they just lived in the masjid. That's one category. The other category, the people they wanted to give up everything. They just wanted to be with Rasulullah. And they're called Ashab al-Sufa. By the way, Sufa, Tasawwuf, Sufi, it's all the same. Wool, people of the wool. They didn't really have it. They're hungry, couldn't eat. Maybe ate one time a day kind of thing, right? Abu Huraira, a Yemeni person, probably well-to-do, gave up everything, wanted to spend his time with Rasulullah and lived here for 3 years in the masjid. Abu Huraira. Okay, where most of the hadith come from. You get kind of show you what's going on. Okay, so Abu Huraira there. Then Rasulullah marries one of the daughters of the chieftains. Of Khaybar, what's her name? Safiya bint Huyay. Safiya bint Huyay.
Abdullah bin Huyay.
Yeah, the daughter of Abdullah bint Huyay. Anyway, very, very romantic story there as well. Look into that. This is the next year, so they performed the Umrah. Okay, Rasulullah tells them how the Umrah is performed, and everybody does the Umrah. Another marriage happens with Maimuna radiallahu anha. Then Rasulullah is now the threat. Okay, we have a peace treaty with the Quraysh and some of the surrounding tribes. Now there's still threat where? From the north. Okay, so Rasulullah sends an army to this called the Battle of Mu'tah. That happens. Lots of Sahabas died. Zayd ibn Haritha. La? Yes, included. And Ja'far and many Sahaba died. Huge. The adopted son of Rasulullah. And now Surah Ahzab said he's no longer your adopted son, he's your brother. This is why you can marry the wife, right? Zainab bint Jahsh. Okay. Zayd ibn Haritha died. Huge blow to Rasulullah, right? Very sad. He was extremely sad. Anyways, then the famous marital dispute happens. Now, why did the dispute happen? How much money is flowing now into Medina? Loads of money is flowing into Medina. And obviously that's going to Baitul Mal and all of the defenses for the building of Medina. Now, Rasulullah obviously he's not keeping all the money, right? It's part of the central treasury. So other people are getting slaves, and the wives of the Prophet radiallahu anhum, they were like, we want some. Why are we living like poor people? We want to be rich too. And Surah Ahzab actually addresses this, the same story where the story of Zainab bint Jahash and that marriage happens. Read Surah Ahzab. Yes. Okay. I'll just stop right after this. The ayat about if you want to live the good life, then go ahead and divorce Rasulullah. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will replace all of you with better wives for him. But and if you want to live with Rasulullah, this is what you got to deal with. So you're not going to be rich, right? So this is so Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam parted with his wives for about a month. He wasn't angry with them, right? He wasn't argue with them. He just parted with them for about a month. So that event happened. That interesting. We can pause here before the Fath Makkah. Okay, we can pause. Huh?
He made idrab. That's idribuhun.
Yes. He made it drop. He had a strike.
Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.